talk about this because I think it's the most interesting battle on the whole team. It's the running back battle. And it's kind of weird because Inside Texas reported one thing, On Texas reported another. Inside Texas basically reported CJ Baxter is full go. He's good. They expect him to play week 1. On Texas has said completely different. Like, he doesn't look the same. And you can see it. The pictures, guys. This guy has a bulky knee brace on. So I'm going to lean towards On Texas on this. I just don't think he's going to be ready to go. Trey Wisner's going to be the lead back in this offense. Who do you think is going to be number 2, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to tell because, you know, we've talked about it before. People are probably tired of hearing me talk about, like, I just have this level of, I don't know, consternation, I guess, about the running back position in Texas, specifically, you know, about is CJ Baxter healthy? So I think on the depth chart and who gets the snaps is probably 2 different conversations. I think on the depth chart, you'll see CJ Baxter as the number 2 guy. I don't think Steve Sarkisian would make that change or put that thought in anybody's head. But I wouldn't be shocked if, again, in Ohio State, if Jarrett Gibson doesn't get an equal share of touches, or if it's, you know, Christian Clark coming back from his injury. We don't know about that either. So I again, Jarrett Gibson, maybe if he's not fumbling in camp, then I could see him getting a decent share of touches in that game as well. But if Texas is going to have a run-heavy look against Ohio State, then I anticipate Trey Wisner getting 25 touches, getting 25 carries on top of whatever he does in the pass game. Because if CJ Baxter is at 100%, you cannot trot him out there against this defense and expect it to be an effective offensive outing. And we've already seen that Trey Wisner is good enough for Texas to win these kinds of games because Trey Wisner wasn't the issue in the playoff game against Ohio State a year ago. Trey Wisner is the only 1,000-yard returner in the SEC, right? He is a guy who can play if the game calls him. And I think the coaches have a lot of confidence, and Trey Wisner has a lot of confidence in himself. So ultimately, if CJ Baxter isn't healthy, leave him at RB2. I don't think they'll put him at RB3 on the depth chart just for the optics of it all. So ultimately, I think your depth chart looks like Wisner, Baxter, and then probably Gibson. But if they need a heavy dose of RB2 in that Ohio State game, I may lean towards seeing more Jarrett Gibson than we see CJ Baxter.
No, I agree. I'm just going to say this. People aren't going to like it. I said it last year. I think when he got hurt, I thought there was a pretty good possibility he transfers from the University of Texas at some point, just because this injury is a lot more serious than people are making out to be. And if you've seen the pictures, the guys, I've had people who've had like full reconstruction on their knees in my family, and it's never the same again. It just isn't. They can't cut the same. They can't put the weight on the same. And this isn't just an ACL tear. He tore like every ligament in his knee, and he's wearing this big bulky brace. And I just don't think he's going to play like very effective football for the University of Texas this year, at least the first 6 to 7 games. Do I think he gets some carries? Yeah, I do. But I'm going to be interested the first time I see him cut and see what it looks like, because that's going to tell me everything I need to know where he's at. Whereas like Christian Clark apparently is like, even Steve Sarkisian again said this during his press conference, like modern medicine is amazing. This dude's cutting already, going full speed, and he trusted enough. And that's what everyone is reporting as well. So I think Christian Clark's going to end up leading this team in rushing. I think he's the most talented running back right now that is healthy. I think CJ Baxter is more talented, but he's not healthy. So I do agree, just because the love that Steve Sarkisian has for Cedric Baxter, I think he's listed as the backup running back, but I don't think he's getting backup running back carries probably until like Oklahoma. And that's a maybe for me, guys. Like I'm very cautious with this injury. Just like I'm telling you, this isn't even a normal knee brace. He's wearing like an offensive line knee brace as a running back. That's never a good sign.
Yeah, and I mean, if you say he's not getting significant, reps or even backup reps to Oklahoma, like if they can get through Ohio State with, the combination of Trey Wisner, Jarrett Gibson, Christian Clark, then you have 3-ish games that you probably don't need him for, right? You don't need him for San Jose State, UTEP, or Sam Houston. No offense to any of those folks. I'm doing a UTEP preview for my podcast this week, right? No offense to UTEP, but they're UTEP, right? They're 3-9. They have 15 transfers on defense. You're not going to need him for San Jose State. So, like, if you think you can get through Ohio State with Trey Wisner, Jared Gibson, Christian Clark, whoever is your goal line back. So, see, Ben, you're right. We've said it before on this stream that, CJ Baxter's ability to run between the tackles and be a battering ram was a big deal for Texas's red zone offense all year. And so, yeah, I think they don't throw that toss play if they have CJ Baxter in there. They also don't throw that toss play if Texas doesn't have 2 pass interference calls against them in the end zone, right? That's, again, a lot of ifs that happen. But back to my point. If Texas can get through Ohio State with, again, Trey Wisner, Jared Gibson, Christian Clark, give the guy an extra month of rep time, rehab time. Like, give him time to get back to 100%. Because if you rush him back, we saw what happened with Jonathan Brooks in the pros, right? He came back, maybe wasn't 100%, instant re-injury, and he set back even farther. And so that, to me, is for anybody's worst case scenario. So ultimately, if you're not confident in him 100%, don't send him out there. Period. End of sentence.
No, 100%. I completely agree with that. It was around a year ago this time Clark tore his Achilles. Yeah, I mean, he's made, from every report, it isn't the same. Like, everyone's been saying glowing things about his recovery. And I said last year, just looking at him, his body type, his film, I thought he was one of the 2 best running backs on the team. I still think that. I think he's going to lead the team in rushing at the end of the year. That's how good I think this guy is. And it sucks about CJ Baxter. It really does. And I do think Trey Wisner is going to be the lead back for most of the season. I think Christian Clark will eventually take it over just because he's able to run in between, the guard and the center a little bit more. That inside zone, he can run a little bit more effectively. And I think you're going to see that more this year. I mean, they're already talking about Arch Manning taking snaps under center more. So this is going to be more inside zone, play action based team. And I think Christian Clark plays in that offense more than Trey Wisner does. Will Trey Wisner still be a really good player for Texas? Yeah, he'll be one of the 2 leading backs, in my opinion. But those are my 2 leading backs for right now. And hopefully, I'm hoping, because CJ Baxter does unlock something his offense desperately needs. And if he gets healthy, then I think Texas can win a national championship. But
yeah,
we'll have to see about that.
And it's just wild. Like you mentioned Christian Clark's Achilles injury. We're like 10 years out from Jonathan Gray's career being completely derailed by a similar injury. Right? Jonathan Gray had that catastrophic Achilles injury, and he was never really the same. Re-injured it a couple of years later and never really saw anything happen for him at the professional level. Christian Clark is back a year later, right? Like, it's just modern medicine is incredible, the things that they can do.
Yeah, it's weird because Achilles used to be like Dominique Wilkins is the one in the NBA where it literally ended his career. Like, you can look at it, he fell off a cliff after he blew out his Achilles. And then guys like Kevin Durant have one, and they're just as good as they were before. Christian Clark's right back on the field. That's like everything other than knees, honestly, like really bad knee injuries. It's hard, man. That and back seem to be the 2 worst injuries you can have in professional sports. You just consistently can't get over the hump for whatever reason. Eventually it will be solved, but for right now it's not.